Hello there guys, and welcome back to another Forza video on my channel. I'm not going to say Horizon 4 because today we're going to be taking a look at Horizon 5. Yes, Forza Horizon 5. This is my preview video which I've been on about for many weeks now. Too many weeks in my opinion, and probably yours as well. But it is finally here. I've been working hard over the past week preparing all of the gameplay, all of the facts that I want to include, and it has taken me many hours, so I really hope you enjoy, as it has taken a lot of effort and there's still a lot to do even after recording it. So hopefully, I'm recording on the 28th of September. Hopefully it'll be uploaded by tomorrow, Wednesday the 29th. Latest being Thursday the 30th, but hopefully we'll get it uploaded tomorrow. I just need to put all of gameplay in according to what I say in this voice recording, and then I can get it rendered and uploaded. Trickiest bit is probably going to be getting all the gameplay in place relevant to what I'm saying, because that'll mean that I have to cut it down to the right size and stuff like that. But I'll actually get into the video. So yeah, like I said, it's been long awaited, so I'm very happy to be recording it after spending pretty much the whole of the last week making and preparing this video. So yeah, very thankful for that, and hopefully I can get it uploaded without many technical difficulties, of which I've had about 5 already in the past half an hour. So, you know, technology helps, definitely. Anyway, so we'll get into the video then. So, like I said, it's going to be all about Horizon 5, the preview of the information we've got so far. We've had the original game reveal at E3. That was many months ago. And then we've had like 8 Horizon 5 Let's Go streams since then, which have included gameplay, information, revealed new facts. So there's quite a lot to go through in this video. I'll try not to make it as long as the my favourite 20 cars video, which was nearly 40 minutes long, which was slightly ridiculous, which is probably why I've got hardly any views. Understandable. I know I said at the end of that video that I wasted 40 minutes of your life, so hopefully I can cut this down to around 20 minutes, which is kind of my average for the channel. So hopefully I can pack all the information in and give you all the facts you need that we've got so far in around 20 minutes. So we'll crack on then. Just before I do though, I'll give a quick shout out to Stephen. This is probably going to be the last time I shout out to him because I haven't posted many times recently. He hasn't had as many shout outs as he would if it was a few months ago when I did the seasonals 3 times a week. But it has been a while now, so I think he's probably got quite a few followers from my channel that have gone over and looked at his videos. So for the last time, I shall say a big shout out to Stephen. He does like Rivals, Trailblazer, other PR stunts videos, sometimes tune reveals, design reveals. So if you want to check him out, I'll put a link on the end screen, his little icon with a GTR in it. So go and check him out. So I also want to say a quick thank you to specifically AR12 Nick and Don Joe One Song. I've been watching their videos to get the facts as well as the Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, so thank you to Playground Games as well for revealing all of the info, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get it and make this video. So yes, thank you Playground Games for revealing all this info. Obviously I started playing Horizon 4 well over a year after it was released, so I never got to see how they revealed Horizon 4 or any other game in the Forza series, so it's been a really good experience for me, something different for sure. So let's get cracking then. So if you haven't heard anything about Horizon 5 and you've just stumbled across this and thought, oh, that sounds good, I'll check it out, I really do appreciate that. And I'd like to tell you that Horizon 5 releases on the 9th of November with Standard Edition, and on Xbox Game Pass. It comes out on Game Pass day 1, or if you get the Premium Edition, which you'll obviously have to pre-order because it's not come out yet, that releases on the 5th of November, which in the UK is Bonfire Night, unfortunately for the people that are going to be doing something on Bonfire Night anyway, which will probably include me. Whoops. So I've already pre-ordered the Premium Edition pretty much a few days after it was released at E3. So this is like in summer a few months ago, I can't remember exactly when. So I pre-ordered the premium edition, which was £85. Standard edition I think is £50, so it's only like a couple of pounds, if not the same as Horizon 4, and you get loads more with it, so I think it's probably quite good value for money. There's also an Xbox, there's also a Horizon 5 controller that you can pre-order, which gets you a couple of DLC items. There's a Ford Coupe Forza Edition car in there, and I think there's like a couple of character customization items in there as well, so if you pre-order that, you get that. I haven't pre-ordered that yet. I probably do need new controllers, to be honest, because mine's got loads of gunk in it and the joysticks get stuck every now and again, so I might consider pre-ordering it, but I'm not too sure yet because they are quite expensive. So that's when it releases, and if you didn't also know this, it is set in Mexico. So Horizon 1 was in Colorado in the United States, Horizon 2 was Italy and France, Horizon 3 Australia, Horizon 4 Britain. I think it included a bit of every country in Great Britain or United Kingdom, because they're two different things if you didn't know. There's definitely Scotland, England in there. I think there's a bit of Wales as well. So yeah, that was Horizon 4, and Horizon 5 is in Mexico, so many people anticipated it would be in Japan, or they might have made a few other guesses, like maybe other countries in Europe, and they might have thought that it would maybe be in countries similar to Japan, but it is in Mexico, and I actually think, thinking about it with a vaster kind of line of thought, is actually a really good idea, because Mexico is way more diverse than pretty much any of the countries in the Horizon series. It's probably the biggest country, maybe Australia is the biggest country, and obviously the United States is, but we only got Colorado there. But yeah, it's a really big country, really diverse, and it's just really unique to the Horizon series, because Mexico's culture I think is really interesting. I would love to visit there, in my opinion. I'd love to visit every country in the world, but that's on my top 5 list, Mexico, because it looks really, really cool. I haven't really heard much about it before. All I know is that it's in South America. That's pretty much it, because it's a really, really interesting country. From what I've seen on Forza, the way they've portrayed it seems really, really accurate, and I can't wait for that. So I'll crack on with my list. I've got my list here of things that I want to say in the order I want to say them in, so that it's kind of relevant to each other and it's not like kind of all randomly placed around the video. And I'll work my way through it, explaining things. I won't read it word for word. I'll try and make it a bit more interesting for you. So, if you think about it, the Horizon 4 map was more square, or even kind of vertical rectangle kind of shape. Horizon 5's map is a massive square kind of thing, pretty much like a laptop or computer screen. And it's actually 1.5 times bigger than the map of Horizon 4. So Horizon 4 was the biggest map in the Horizon series. Horizon 5 is now the new biggest map, but it's not just slightly bigger, it's nearly 40 kilometers squared bigger. 1.5 times bigger. Horizon 4 was, I think, 71 kilometers squared, and Horizon 5 is 107 kilometers squared. So do the maths, and that is 36 kilometers squared difference, which is quite a lot, to be honest with you, considering that Mexico's one country and Horizon 4 included at least 2, probably 3 or 4. And I know the United Kingdom is like the smallest country on Earth, but yeah, the Mexico map is going to be very interesting, I'll say that. So now I'd like to talk about the features on the map. So there's apparently 31 landmarks, or kind of locations, if you get what I mean, but there's 56 areas of the map, and then there's 11 biomes as well, but I'll come back to that in a bit. So features on the map, you've got a few cities. So Guanajuato is the main city. I think I'm pronouncing that right in the Spanish pronunciation. So yeah, Guanajuato's the main city, and it actually has, fun fact, over 2 kilometers of underground tunnels. And I'll put a picture of the map up on the screen at some point during the video. and you'll be able to see that if you look kind of in the middle of the map, you'll see like this area of loads of roads. That's Guanajuato, and they're all that condensed. It's like massive, way bigger than Edinburgh was in Horizon 4. Edinburgh being the main city in Horizon 4. And it's way bigger. The streets are way more condensed. They're way more complicated. Well, I can't wait to go in them underground tunnels because I haven't really ever done that before, and that'll be really cool. And Guanajuato is definitely going to be a good place to hide in hide and seek. Definitely. So yeah, that's probably the main feature on the map. Other features you may want to talk about is that the highway, there's, as requested by a lot of people wanted a bigger highway to do drag racing stuff. The highway actually goes from corner to corner. So it's literally from the bottom left corner all the way to the top right corner, a massive diagonal, couple of bends in it to make it a bit more interesting, so it's not just like a straight line for like 2 minutes. There's a few bends in it. There's like these massive kind of ring roads that go around it when you go off them. Really cool actually, much better than the M68 or whatever it is in Horizon 4. And yeah, really cool. Other features on the map, there's actually 5 or 6 drag strips I think. So there's one in the main festival, there's one in like some of the ruins, I think there's a couple of airports and stuff like that. So yeah, there's also 6 festivals. So you've got the Baja Festival, which is for cross country. I'm just going to have a look in my notes. You've got the Apex Festival, which is for road racing. You've got the Mexican Festival, which is kind of the introduction. And kind of, I'm presuming that's the main festival, unless that's the Apex, I'm not really too sure. The Wilds Festival is for dirt racing. The Rush Festival is for PR stunts, so I don't know whether Trailblazers are returning, but speed traps, dangerous highs, drift zones, speed zones, I'm presuming they're all there. And then there's a Street Scene Festival, which if you didn't figure it out is for street racing. Well done if you figured that one out. So yeah, basically I'll talk about how you can unlock these festivals later in the video, but that's trying to keep it relevant. So other towns and cities that you might find that aren't like Guanajuato, I think there's a couple of like towns or villages on the coast. We got shown in the E3 reveal one of them kind of coastal towns, looks really cool. And then I think there's a couple of other villages dotted around the map, along with like ruin town kind of things, if you get what I mean, where there's loads of ruins. Like I said a few minutes ago, there's a drag strip running through one of them ruin area kind of things. So there's loads of things to talk about on the map. I'm not going to go into all of it because I could go on all day. If you want to do some more research as to the features of the map, when I put the map picture up, you can have a look for yourself and see if you can spot anything. There's stadiums, golf pitches, just loads of really cool stuff, and I can't wait to crack into discovering all the features on the map. So, now we'll move on to talking about the biomes. So like I said earlier, there are 11 of them, which is really cool, and it should be quite spread out across the, well, 107 kilometers squared map, so it'll be really cool. So the biomes that we're going to be looking at: living desert, so these are the things with like the plants in them, so the sand with the plants like the cactus. I don't know whether there's palm trees in them. I know there's palm trees on the map in Mexico, but I don't know whether they're in the living desert. But you know, like plants, living things that are located in the desert. You've got the sand desert, which is basically like these massive sand dunes. So a bit like, I don't really know how to describe it, a bit like a really big beach, but then it's more like a desert, so there's maybe a few cactus or cacti dotted around. It's not really like beach sand, it's more like desert sand, if you get what I mean. And then you've got the volcano. Fun fact about the volcano, it's the highest point ever in a Forza game, so way higher than like Glen Rannoch in Horizon 4. You've got the jungle, which of course has got all of the trees in it, maybe a bit of water, the wildlife that are in there. You've got the swamp, which if you don't know what a swamp is, it's just like loads of water. Like in Minecraft, the swamp is kind of murky water with kind of drooping trees around it. You've got the urban, which is kind of Guanajuato, the cities, the towns, etc. You've got the tropical coast, which is one of the coasts. I don't know which side it's on. I think it might be the east, but I'm not really too sure. So the tropical coast is where you've got the tropical village that I talked about a few minutes ago. You've got, well, more kind of tropical things, so the sand will be brighter, the water will be a lighter blue rather than dark blue, and just kind of things that you would expect to see like if you went to a holiday resort. Then you've got the rocky coast, so a bit like the beach in Horizon 3 by the Byron Bay Festival, where you've got the massive rocks, the arches between the rocks, all of the sand and the water. A bit like that, but a lot bigger, stretching quite, well, pretty much all the way along the coast, which is really, really cool. Hopefully we can do some desert, well, sand drag races. Then you've got the farmland, where you've got like all the crops growing, where you can smash through the fields and destroy the farmers' plants and stuff like that. And then you've got the arid hills, which are kind of these small hilly areas, not quite mountains, but more like, I don't really know how to describe it, pretty much like the middle of the map on Horizon 4, where there's kind of hills, but they're not very high and they kind of blend into each other. There's a couple of V's and stuff like that. And then you've got the canyon, which is pretty much like, I think there was one in Horizon 1, but I can't be sure because I've never played it. So canyons like these massive roads that go like along the edge of the cliffs, so I'm pretty sure that'll be near the volcano, like driving along the edge of the volcano, so that'll be really cool. So they're the 11 biomes and a bit about them. If you want to find out any more info, you can kind of look it up, but I think that's pretty much all you need to know about the biomes. So I'm going to throw a couple of facts at you now and just kind of expand on them. So bonus boards, like the boards that you smash, I'm presuming that includes fast travel boards, but I'm not really sure because I haven't seen it really, and it's not been confirmed. But bonus boards, beauty spots, which are like the locations you go to, so like the Scott Monument in Edinburgh in Horizon 4, probably the volcano's probably going to be one, kind of things that you would be attracted to. So if you went to Mexico, what would be the highlight, the landmarks, stuff like that. And then barn finds, so you probably know what barn finds are, where you get a barn find rumour and then you have to go and find it in this area, and then if you find it, it'll let you have the car in it. I know that the VW Beetle is one of them, and it's also the car that you start the Eliminator in, replacing the Mr. Bean Mini. So this links back to pretty much what I've been saying about the map. So there's 31 kind of landmarks or locations, and that kind of links to the features of the map, like I said. There are five drag strips, so I've pretty much said where they are. I think they're mostly down the bottom of the map, like I said, in the main festival, through the ruins, etc. The canyon is the most northerly part of the map. So with the volcano being the highest point of the map, that's probably also going to be at the north. That kind of links to what I said before about maybe the canyon being around the volcano, kind of blending with each other. There are going to be 603 roads. When I watched Donjel One Song's video, he said 562. This is from like a few weeks or months ago. But on the most recent Horizon 5 stream, the episode 8 of the Let's Go, when they were at the Baja circuit, it actually popped up at the bottom of the screen. I think I've got the gameplay included, so if you keep your eyes peeled for when we're at the Baja circuit, and it said 5 out of 603 roads found, so I kind of changed that and hoped that they'd updated it and added a few more roads since when they said there was 562. But if it isn't 603, then it's probably 562. But anyway, it's still a lot more than there were in Horizon 4, and obviously some of them are going to be longer with the map being more diverse. And then there's also 56 areas, so these aren't specifically landmarks, just kind of areas of the map. So I can't really give any examples for that, but just areas where you might be. So yeah, hilly areas, for example. What else have we got? The volcano is the only place with snow. So this will link on to me saying about the weather. So the weather is really diverse, and depending on where you are on the map, the weather can change. So you might be in a dust storm in the desert, whereas in the city it's bright and sunny. Or it might be raining in the city and sunny on the coast. And the volcano is the only place with snow. So if you're on the volcano and it's snowy, you might drive down onto the highway and it'll just be like summer again. So that also links onto the seasons. So the seasons return, but unlike them being in Britain where it's summer, autumn, winter, spring, it's more realistic to real life and what it'll be like in Mexico. So you got like the dry season and then the wet season. So whatever the season is, the volcano will have snow, but it'll, like I said, it'll be different. So even if it is the dry season, that dry season might vary to where you are on the map, basically. So a feature I mentioned before that's on the map is the stadium, and this hosts Event Lab. So I'll be talking about what Event Lab is later when I talk about the other features, game modes that are in the game. So yeah, like I said before, the map is very, very diverse. There's loads of different areas, landmarks, types of stuff, biomes on there, and there's loads of types of roads, switchbacks, straights, highways, drag strips, like tight areas, cities, etc. There's loads of different roads, and if you take a look for the map yourself, like I said when I put it up, depending on where and when I do put it up, you'll be able to see that for yourself. So Event Lab then, I've mentioned it a few seconds ago, is at the stadium, and at the original reveal at E3 we saw a bit of a gameplay of it, but only about 15-20 seconds. So basically this kind of replaces custom route making and Super 7, and it's kind of expanded that and made it way better. So you can basically create any game mode you want. So whether that be you create your own hide and seek, you create your own tag, you create your own knock the skittles over, you create your own bowling, anything, you can literally create anything, and then you can make your own set of rules. So whereas in, like, if we created a custom route, we've got to follow the rules. You can even add like your own props like you can in Super 7, but I would imagine there'll be more props you can use. You can do it in races like you couldn't in Horizon 4. And you can do all of this while you're in a convoy, so you can do this with people, whereas in Super 7 and custom route making it was all by yourself. So yeah, basically you can do this all yourself, and you can even use commands like Nick said, if you get caught then you fail, or if you knock 10 skittles over you get 100 points, anything like that. So that's pretty much what Event Lab is, pretty much anything you want to create. Another kind of fun fact-ish is that there's new dirt or mud effects. So whereas it would throw a bit of dirt up, you'd still be able to see the car in front of you pretty clearly, but it's now more realistic to real life, and with there being more dirt roads on the Mexico map and it being more adapted to off-road, they've increased the amount of dirt and mud that's thrown up, and that might even be wet if it's been raining, like if you're in the swampy areas. So it'll make it very hard for you to see, which is more realistic to real life, and it'll challenge you a bit more. So that brings me on to the talking about challenging. There's actually a new difficulty. So where we have like highly skilled, expert, unbeatable, average, new racer, etc., there's a new one called tourist, and this kind of makes it so that literally everyone can play. So whether it be your grandparents or a 5-year-old, it makes it easy for them to play, because it pretty much makes it impossible to lose. So whereas you might think it's not fun, it'll be fun for them because they can play it and enjoy it without getting beat all the time by the AI. And I'm just hoping that the AI doesn't force field you. Hopefully they won't. So the difficulty is called tourist, and it's basically like if you're a tourist in a country, you'll be more cautious, you won't want to be going fast, you'll be looking for attractions and that. So that's pretty much where they've got it from, I think. So the campaign then, and how to unlock the festival. So I listed the festivals before. I'm not quite sure where they are or all are on the map, but basically you there's expeditions that you can do with people, and completing them expeditions helps you to unlock new festivals, and you're also the boss of the festival. So I think the Mexican festival is the one you get at first, but then by completing expeditions you can unlock whichever festival you want because you're the boss. You can do whichever one. So if you're very good at dirt racing, you could unlock the Wilds one. If you want to crack on with the PR stunts like Stephen will want to, you can do the Rush festival. So it's really up to you. I would imagine Nick or Don Jones have explained this better, but pretty much you're the boss. You decide what happens, you decide when it happens, you pretty much decide anything that you want to, and you can unlock all the festivals in whichever order you want. So backing up like doing expeditions, you can collect accolades from completing challenges. So accolades are kind of stars or a kind of reward. So it's similar to credits, but you can't really spend them. You just kind of collect them and then use them on things. I'm not quite sure what you use them on, but you can kind of collect them from completing challenges. So whether that is expeditions, I'm not too sure. Completing maybe PR stunts races will get you accolades and stuff like that. Following on to that, there's a new currency. So credits are still in the game, so you can still earn money, but there's a new currency called kudos. I think that's how you pronounce it. So it's spelled Kudos, I think I've got that right, and I think it's pronounced kudos. So this rewards you for positive acts. So whether you are racing clean, whether you've kind of helped someone in some way, I don't really know how, you just done something positive, you can get kudos, and then I think you can spend them, or you can get rewarded for having a certain amount of kudos, because that means that you're a good person in the community and you want to help the community. I think it's something like that anyway. And another reward, if you complete like a set of manufacturers, like say you complete Porsche, it gives you a Porsche 911 GT3 RS Forza Edition. So I think completing each manufacturer, buying the cars and increasing your car collection gets you a reward in that of that manufacturer. So whether they'll all be Forza Edition cars, I don't know. Whether some of them will be like the cars that they've not included in the original car list, I'm not sure. So maybe if there's a few cars that are missing from the car list, that might be where they are. Not sure, but I guess we'll have to see. So following on to that then, the car list, it's not quite finished yet because I don't believe that BMW's in there, and there's a few manufacturers that just kind of vanished, or a few cars from some manufacturers that have vanished. Like either they were in Horizon 4 from the start, or they were added to Horizon 4 and now they're not in, which seems a bit weird. So I think it's not quite finished yet, and they said they'll try and get it confirmed soon. So far, I think there's like well over 400, 500, I think, something like that anyway. And there's quite a few new cars, maybe not as many as you're expecting, but there is actually quite a few when you think of it. And there's they've brought quite a lot over that they added later on in Horizon 4. So a few honourable shout outs are the 2020 Toyota Supra. I know that was a very much requested car. The brand new Mercedes AMG 1, and the 2021 Ford Bronco, the 2020 Land Rover Defender, which I'm really looking forward to, I have to say. There's a new kind of Ford F450 pickup thing, I think. There are a few honourable shout outs, so I'm really looking forward to cracking into some new cars. And another one that I'm really looking forward to is the Nissan Navara Rally Raid kind of off-road Baja pickup thing, whatever it is. So yeah, pretty much I'll link to Donjo One Song's video on all of the cars found so far in the description, just to save me the work, as he's done a very good job on it and I'd like to reward him for that. So I'll link to that video and then you can see for yourself any that I might have missed out, or any that you are looking forward to that have been confirmed. So that leads me on now to customisation for your cars and for other stuff as well. So for painting, there's a new like Photoshop kind of paint booth. So the layout for upgrades and the menus and the paint booth has dramatically changed. It's kind of more like an L, and there's a few more buttons you can press. And the resolution for paints as well has dramatically changed. So when you're like in free roam, your paint will be more visible and you'll be able to see the finer details on it, the stickers and that you put on it. Apparently you can also change doors on your vehicles. Not sure whether it's on all vehicles, but in the most recent Horizon 5 stream we got gameplay of them changing the doors on the Jeep Gladiator, which is really, really cool. So if you can do that on loads of cars, like off-road cars in particular, that would be really, really cool. There's a new off-road stat. So I mentioned before that the game's more focused on off-roading because Mexico's kind of a bigger country. There's more farmland, so you want to be building your cars for off-road and dirt racing, as well as road racing. So there's a new off-road stat, and there's also new off-road race tyres, which will of course boost the off-road stat. And then there's also new drift tyres, which is very good, so that means you don't have to put on drag tyres to be good at drifting. And I'm hoping that rear wheel drive will be more fun to drift as well and more competitive, as a lot of other people have said. So that you don't have to have all-wheel drive, full power build, drag tyres, max camber, 85% rear diff, etc. You get what I mean. There's also new visual customization, like new body kits. So we got gameplay of the new HKS and Toyota Heritage body kits for the new Supra. We got gameplay of a body kit for the Porsche 911 GT2 on the most recent stream. And there's loads of other body kits, like on the Corvette C8. So I'm really looking forward to cracking into them. There's also 500 new engine swaps. Yes, you heard me right, 500 new engine swaps. So that is going to be absolutely insane. So obviously you can't put like a V12 in a PLP50. In fact, I don't even think the PLP50 is in the game. Let's go with the VW Beetle. You're not going to be able to put a V12 in a VW Beetle because that would just be stupid. But hopefully you can put more real life engines in it. And also more types of more powerful engines, like maybe there's more V12s, V10s, so you're not putting like a Lamborghini V12 in every car that you come across, which is very annoying, by the way. There's also 320 new engine sounds, so I'm going to try and include some of the sound gameplay demo thing in this video at some point. So you'll see that they actually got the cars in real life, took them to an airstrip, I think, or a drag strip, unused, and they kind of, well, just attached loads of recording equipment to it, had people standing by it, and then just recorded loads of car sounds. So now each car has an individual car sound. So they didn't record new car sounds for all of them, but this means there's no copy and paste, so each car will have its individual car sound. And following on from that, each upgrade you do, so say you put a race exhaust on, that'll make your car louder. So each upgrade you do will change the sound of your car. So if you put a turbo on, it's going to have more of a whine, or a supercharger, stuff like that. And also you can rev the engine while you're in the menu, so you can actually hear the difference without having to go all the way into free roam or Forza Vista and coming back in, which is really, really cool. More visual customization. There's 100 new wheels or rims, that's really cool, and I think there's also a new rim category, so I'm yet to find out what that is, but I'll let you know as soon as I can. So yeah, that's pretty much it for customization. So now I'm on to my final page of my notes, which is good because the video's always long enough. So this is kind of a few kind of more interesting facts now, and then at the very end I'll talk about the game modes in Horizon 5. So an interesting fact, there's rear wheel steering in Horizon 5. We don't know what cars have it yet. The only car we do know is the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, the electric Porsche. So you can see on the gameplay we got of that in whichever stream it was, that the rear wheels were turning. So I'm hoping for cars that don't turn, like racing trucks and stuff like that, that we have rear wheel steering, and that will be really, really cool. There's also a new kind of race or track mode in Horizon 5 where it lowers your car, puts the rear wing up if it's got one, increases the downforce and grip of your car, and that can be activated by pressing down the left thumbstick, so actually pressing it down, not flicking it down, pushing it down, like the weird clicking noise that it does, which is very annoying, by the way. So that'll either send you into race mode or put you back in cruise mode. So whether that changes your PI, I've no idea, but hopefully that'll be a good option for kind of hypercars, supercars. Also, a cool little fact is that wildlife responds to the car's volume. So if you're in the Porsche Taycan, which we just mentioned, that's electric, or Jaguar I-Pace. If you creep up to the wildlife, they're not going to hear you. You'll be able to get up close to them, honk your horn, and then they'll run away. If you're in a Lamborghini Aventador, or a Ford Fiesta rally car with all the pops and bangs, the wildlife are going to hear you before you can even see them, and they'll be gone. You won't be able to find them. So that's a really, really cool feature. That's a really cool feature that they've kind of put in, and I thank them for that because it makes it more realistic. So now I want to talk about the opening race. So we did get full gameplay of the opening race. I'm not sure whether I'll include any of it in here because I've got to include all the other gameplay as well. But the cars that you use, in no particular order, are the Mercedes AMG 1. Which I think you drive to the festival. I think that's the last car you use. You use the 2021 Ford Bronco, which I think you drive to the Baja circuit in. You use the Porsche Desert Flyer 911 thing, which you use to drive wherever you drive it to. And then you use the Chevrolet Corvette C8 with that lovely wide body kit on it. So they're the cars you use. You can check out the gameplay on like Don Jones or AR12 Nick's YouTube channels if you want to see the full opening race. It's really, really cool. So that tells you what you're going to be doing in the opening race. Cover cars then, if you didn't already know, if you haven't pre-ordered it and you don't have it in your menu or you haven't seen anything about it, you probably won't know what the cover cars are. It might not be any surprise to you if you have heard a bit about Horizon 5, that the cars are the Mercedes AMG 1, which is a brand new car, 2021, and then the 2021 Ford Bronco, of which there are two. So there's a yellow one and a grey one, and then the Mercedes is red. So they're two pretty cool cars, but the devs kind of hyped it up for not really much, to be honest, as we did really expect it. There is a slight physics overhaul as well, so apparently the brakes and the suspension have been tweaked so that it's more realistic, and with you be doing a lot of off-roading in this game, you're going to want better suspension, so apparently it's easier to control and it's more realistic to what it'd actually be like. Not that you're going to drive off the volcano in real life, because how you get up there and not die anyway, I've no idea, but then driving off it would guarantee you instant death. But yes, apparently it's more realistic, so like for Baja trucks and that, it'll be more realistic and easy to control. So I've already spoke about the season, so I don't need to speak about that. I've already spoke about the new controller, so now I can talk about the game modes. So there's kind of 3 game modes, and then there's 2 extra things which are included in this section. So the first one I want to talk about is Horizon Arcade. So this is kind of a bit like Forza Live, but it's a lot better, a lot more interesting, and a lot kind of more diverse. So these events happen live all the time, so it's not like every hour, they happen all the time, and you can trigger them using something else I'll talk about in a second, which is called Forza Link. And you can trigger them using Forza Link so that you team up with people in your live session and complete challenges. So these are challenges such as Pinata Pop, Bullseye, etc. I've got some gameplay of that which I'll include in this video for you, so you'll see that at some point. So that's pretty much arcade, where you complete stuff live, and then I'm pretty sure you get Forzathon points for it, which you can then spend in the Forzathon shop or something like that. Then you've got the Horizon Tour. So this is basically like co-op racing against the AI, but it's a bit more relaxed. So I don't know who, but somebody described it as like a rolling car meet. I think it might have been AR12 Nick actually. So it's like you meet up with people and then you just kind of race. It's on like average difficulty, so you'll be racing against average AI, so it's not going to be much of a challenge, and you'll just kind of race with them, and you'll just kind of do it, and then you can quit at any point, or you can just move on to the next set of races. This is kind of a bit of a fun new feature that allows you to race without having to be putting much effort into it, so I really like that actually. Then you've got Horizon Open, so this is where you can find like all of the online kind of game mode. So it's a bit like online adventure, but it's kind of mixed in. So you'll find multiplayer racing, so open racing, so this will be road, street scene, cross-country, dirt racing. So this is like ranked racing, but ranked adventure is no longer here, so you don't get a ranking system, so it's a bit more fair to all players. I know people have complained about the ranking system in Horizon 4, so they've made it a bit better, so that it's not a ranking system, it's more just you get rewards and you can just race basically. So you've got open racing, then you've got open games, which is just playground games, but that can be solo and in a team, so that'll vary depending on what it decides for you. Then you got open drifting, so this is similar to Drift Adventure, but it'll be there'll be off-road drifting as well as on-road drifting. It'll switch between rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and it won't be as complex as Drift Adventure, and it'll be a bit better in terms of who can win, etc. And then you've got the Eliminator. So yes, the Eliminator is returning. I believe the first car you're using that is the VW Beetle, which we said was a barn find. So you'll be using that, and then you'll have the gift drops that are placed around the world. Obviously it's a much bigger world, so that'll make it a bit more interesting as well. And you can just do anything in Eliminator, like you can in Horizon 4. So now I want to move on to gift drop. So this is kind of a new feature where you can gift cars to people, so you can select any car you want from your garage, pop a paint on it, tune it up, and then you can kind of gift it to someone. You can't gift it to someone specifically, like some people, including myself, thought that when it was originally revealed, but now we've got more info. It's kind of, you pick a group of players, so maybe this might be new players, players who've received lots of kudos, so they're being rewarded for their positive acts, people who haven't played for a while, who are coming back and want to get back into it, and then you can leave a message, so whether that be, and there's specific messages for each category that you choose, so you pick a message, and then you can either leave it unsigned, so you're anonymous, or you can sign it with your gamer tag or your player name, and then I don't know whether you get to choose whether you place it or the game just randomly hides it, and then whoever fits into that category can come across it and pick it up, and then it's kind of a transfer, so it's not a copy and paste, it's like a cut and paste, so it takes it from your garage, puts it on the map, and then when someone finds it, it puts it in their garage. So it's a really nice way to do it, and it'll also benefit people like with seasonals as well, so you can get multiple cars and then people have your tunes to do stuff. So that's a really cool idea actually. Following on from that, for the season events, you've got the festival playlist, which returns, but it includes new stuff, and I think I heard that it might include event lab creations, but I'm not too sure about that, so I'm not going to say it definitely does, because I'll get people saying that it isn't and that I'm telling false facts, so just be wary of that. And I think it includes a few different things, and I think it's got a different layout, but again I'm not too sure on that. So following on from what I said before, there's Forza Link, which is to do with arcade. So Forza Link is kind of a new AI intelligence that kind of predicts what you want to say, so it's kind of like your brain but on Forza. It predicts what you might want to say, and it kind of takes into account who is around you, what is around you, what you've been doing previously, and it kind of it's like Anna but better, and it includes more chat features, so it'll predict what you say, so then you can say, oh, should we do an arcade, or should we do an online adventure, or should we go to the volcano, and then you can say yes, and then it'll join together in a convoy. So it's really good, really clever, and I just want to kind of get used to it and see how it works really. So we'll have to see that for ourselves. It's only just over a month now until Horizon 5, so I really cannot wait for that. A couple of facts to finish off. You can change the roofs up and down on your convertible. So if you're in a convertible Gallardo, you can put the roof up and down. There is a button you can press for that. I'm not too sure what it is yet, but I guess we'll find that out. You can also now paint brake calipers. I know a lot of people have wanted that, so that's a really cool feature as well. And there's also new Mexican murals on the map. You may have seen that in the E3 reveal. If you saw that, there was one in the coastal town when they were doing the convertible in the Gallardo, so you'll be able to see that. So that is pretty much what I want to say for today, guys. So I do apologise for it being quite long, but I hope you've learned all that you need to know about Horizon 5. Like I said, I'll link to Don Joe One Song's car list video in the description. I'll put any other info I think I need to include in the description, so be sure to check that out. If you are new around here, you want to see more Horizon 5 content when it comes out, please do consider smashing that subscribe button. It'd really help me out, but it'll also help you out as well to get to know Horizon 5 once I start playing it on day one. So yeah, I do really thank you for watching this video, guys. Like I said, hope it was helpful, hope you've learned some new stuff about Horizon 5, and it is really close now, within touching distance, so I'm really excited for it. So I'll see you in the next video. I don't know what that'll be yet, but I'll see you then, and hopefully we'll have another stream at some point in the next week too. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye!